Now, here in just in a second, we're going to walk in. I talked to Jack, and he's in there. He is the great grandson, Jack Hatfield, of Devil Anse Hatfield himself. I'm ready. Got everything put away, and we are ready to go in. Devil Anse, well, this used to be Devil Anse's house. His house sat right here. It came out a little bit further to about right in here somewhere. And I've camped out here several times. I've camped here on Devil Anse Hatfield's property, his old home place, several times. But anyhow, we're going to head on in now and go find Jack. And he has something else that he wanted to show us. My dogs, hello.
My babies.
Yeah, they are. Yes, you're such a friendly girl. Yeah, you are. Scratch that butt. Oh, let's get that butt. Let's get that butt good. I've been wearing the ones you gave me like crazy.
Good.
They're really good. Just in case anybody's curious, the hoodies that Jack Hatfield sells, I kid you not, they're the best hoodies I possess. I am not playing with you. This is not
They're Jersey's brand.
This is not like the stuff from Walmart. This is much thicker. It's softer. I don't know what the deal is, but
even on my t-shirts, I do soft style, Gildan soft style. Like I don't like cheap shirts.
I noticed it.
Yeah.
I've been wearing your hoodies almost exclusively.
Yeah. Hey, when you need them, let me know. I'll give you free advertisement for me, buddy. We make them here on the property. You know, we put our logos and everything on here on the property.
Yeah.
In our workshop. And then, of course, you know, I thought you would love the book. Because, of course, now this is a hard copy. There's only 25 of these I ever printed, the hard copies.
This is Jack's new book, guys.
Yeah, this one is the new, well, will be. I'm putting two out really close together, but this one I think you'll like because it is literally, supposedly, the word on the street is responsible for the term hillbilly.
You really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this book is about T.C. Crawford's visit to interview Devil Anse.
Mm-hmm.
So you had this fancy gentleman coming from New York to Appalachia during, you know.
I bet that was some serious culture shock there, wasn't it?
Let me tell you, it's entertaining. I'll tell you that. I mean, some parts he had me like just laughing so hard I could.
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about the women, you know, and the whores, and it was quite
oh no!
It's quite interesting. But of course, you know, I left his book as is, you know, his portion of it. But of course, I added a foreword, and then I added a bunch of history facts, figures, and a lot of questions that we get, you know.
Yeah.
So I answered a lot of stuff in the book for people, and then of course put a lot of photos and stuff, and the family history. I actually had these commissioned.
Oh, really?
As well as this map. Yeah. So. You know, like there's been a lot of work.
You're trying to do some good stuff, man.
I mean, they're reprints of the original work, but I added to them, and I mean, you know, I'm trying to make sure it's quality stuff, you know, and accurate as possible, which is not easy.
Yeah,
with the Feud.
Yeah, no kidding.
But you know, I mean, you got the Logan Wildcats in here. There's a lot of rare photos in here that people like probably never seen. There's one of Jauncey.
Yeah, here we go. It's a little bit later years, though.
Yep.
It's later years. We weren't quite so good looking then, were
we? But, you know, there's Robert E. Lee. That's my great-grandfather.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get a close-up.
This is, of course, Levice. And John and Craig are in here. I just don't know if it's these two here or these two here.
Right.
So that would be his sons, which I come from John, which is either got to be this smaller one here or this one here.
Really?
And one of these could be Craig. I just don't know which one yet.
I've seen it. It's a snow picture.
Yes,
snowy.
it is. Yeah. I have a colored version of it, but of course this book's in black and white. So
yeah.
We colorized it. But, you know, there's a lot of interesting photos and things in here. But, you know, I think you'll be...
one thing I did want to mention that you pointed out about this book just a second ago, that this was where the term hillbilly comes from. And there's something about the term hillbilly. Years ago, I guess y'all probably know.
Yeah.
The term hillbilly used to be a derogatory term.
Right.
You know, it used to be a bad thing.
Yep.
But anymore, calling somebody a hillbilly is a whole lot like calling them Batman. You know?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, it's not offensive anymore calling somebody a hillbilly.
No.
Thank you.
But
That's awesome for calling me a hillbilly. Thank you.
You and Heather.
Oh, you didn't you?
Yeah. And
I just noticed that.
I dedicated it to my Aunt Judy, who's helped us
I know
get everything
Judy.
together.
Yeah,
but
she's a character, isn't she?
Boy, that's the understatement, ain't it?
She's
Character.
Cool. She's cool though.
But the other one,
she says what she thinks. I
says what she
I
thinks
respect
and
that.
thinks what she says.
I respect. You got to respect that.
I know.
You have to respect that.
But she just don't care, buddy.
Yeah, she's a car person too. She likes my Mustang.
Yeah, she is.
First time I met her, I like your car. I said, I like you.
So both of these books, this one here was the first ever book written about the feud at all.
Yeah, the Vendetta. Yeah.
And it's also, or published, I guess we'll say. And that it's also it's not so much about the feud as much as it is about his journey here and his interview with Devil Anse.
Right.
So he does, it's a first-hand account with my great-grandfather, which to me is very special because you see his take and his view on the feud, which is interesting. So I love this book for that reason. This one here that I'm working on republishing, this is called The Devil's Brigade. The original book, it's very rare, hard to get.
Yeah, I saw that laying there. I did notice that.
I've seen these going for up to $800.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's from 1930 is the original print. Like I said, they're very hard to find. For the copyrights in there somewhere. But the copyright just expired on it. And in October, I think it was. I talked to the copyright office. So the copyright on it just expired, so it's just went into public domain.
Right.
So there's no, because it just became public domain, what happens typically is volunteers take that and then they will, do an audio book and, type it out in a PDF and have an ebook.
Yeah.
Well, none of that exists right now. So this book was 325 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to transcribe it all out.
Oh, you had to transcribe it all by hand, huh?
Yep.
Fun. I bet that was fun.
Yeah.
That's like writing 2 books.
Yes. So this one's taken a lot of work. But I do like this book because it is more about the feud, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting part, so John Spivak was the original author. And he was a controversial figure in his day. He was supposedly a communist and very political. And he heard about the feud,
which was a horrible thing back then. Commies.
Oh yeah,
know?
I mean, they thought he was a spy. Everything.
Commies, man.
It's quite his story. I mean, get time, look him up. His story is quite interesting. And he heard about the coal mine wars going on. So he came down to do a story and a book about the coal mining wars.
Mm-hmm.
And then learned about the feud and thought it was more interesting.
Yeah.
So he ended up doing a book on the feud. But what's cool is he continued to do his story on the coal mining wars. So the book itself is on the feud and the coal mining wars. And what's interesting is he talks about how the Civil War set the stage for the feud, right?
Yeah.
And then the feud and the Civil War set the stage for the coal mining wars. So you got to think, you had all these coal miners coming together, rebelling against, the government and against these billionaires, or I guess at the time millionaires, running
coal
everything,
barons.
right?
Yeah,
and they
coal
were
barons.
running these coal camps, which were more like slave camps. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah, indentured servitude.
Yes, it was.
Technical.
Oh, it's a good term,
Indentured servitude. You owe until the day you die.
Yeah, and completely. Yeah. So it was just like to me, it's like a new formation of, a type of slavery. It was crazy.
Yeah, basically it is.
So it talks about how the Civil War and the feud turned all the men around here into soldiers. And how they were already prepared and ready for the coal mine wars.
Right.
So you don't think
Yeah,
about
that's
it, but
true.
when you think about, you know,
That's true. You had feudists,
Yeah.
and you had all these left over from the Civil War.
Yep.
That's a good point, Jack. That's
I know.
You had all these people who were closet killers.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys were already soldiers,
trained killers,
trained soldiers, and then it went from the Civil War. You know, they had to pick a side there, to where they picked a side in the feud. You know, and then they were
picking a side in the mine wars,
in the coal mining wars. Yeah, so you had all these. It talks about how many thousands of people just kept coming and gathering as soldiers to protect, you know, the communities around here. And to, you know, overthrow the government and these millionaires for fair treatment, you know, fair labor laws.
That's probably why all of us hillbillies are so tough.
Maybe. Sometimes I don't feel so tough.
Yeah, no.
But he you know, he did a good job with it. But of course, it is technically a fictional account of the feud, right?
Right.
So, which honestly they all are. I mean, none of us really know.
Yeah, I've mentioned that in today's story, that there's a lot of loopholes. He said, she said, and you know, there's a whole bunch of that stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, you always try to point out that stuff as, you know, if it's a rumor, this is a rumor, and if it's, you know, you're sure this is fact.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Never seen that before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff out there with their names on
Lions, isn't it?
The Lions Club, yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. There's just all kinds of...
Some 99.
There's just all kinds of weird things that I'll run into, and I found this too. It came in a lot smaller than I thought. Can't even hardly read it.
Oh, the little pig.
Yeah, you can't even read it, but it's a Hatfield McCoy, I think it's a Geo coin or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Oh, a souvenir coin. Lot
Yours
number.
to keep.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's so tiny. It's like, can I even display that?
Keychain kind of thing?
I don't know. I don't know what they used it for. I always, you know, we never know what find around. So you saw the tree that fell out there during the floods, right? In the front yard.
Oh yeah.
The tree, it's out there.
Yeah, I did notice that.
So I had the guy cutting it up, and he pulls this out of the roots.
Really?
Yeah, it's a medicine bottle. I looked it up. It's a medicine bottle from the early 1900s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It looks 30s, don't it? 20s, 30s?
I think it's 20s. Yeah, I think it was 20s. It said. Yeah, I think.
Oh, it looks it. You got it has little teeny marks on the side too.
Yeah.
For measuring. Huh.
Yeah, you seen these before?
I wonder what that was.
Logan County bicentennial coin.
Huh. Interesting.
Or no, centennial coin. Yeah, centennial coin. Yep.
Huh.
You know, these are really cool. This is.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah, so this is the divorce papers between Louisa Jane L.J. Collins, my great grandmother, and Robert E. Lee Hatfield, which was Devil Anse's third son that I'm from, and this is their divorce papers. I actually got to hold their marriage certificate, the original one. That was really cool. Between the two of them. About, you know, like a legal contract about, you know, how things are going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I guess divorce was frowned upon. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then about 10 years after this one, she filed for divorce, and it's pretty juicy. It was LJ gave Robert the parental rights to the children.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Which is odd to me. So John and Craig, my grandfather John, or great-grandfather, technically, John Sr.
Mm-hmm.
He had custody of John Sr. and of Craig.
Right.
Their two children, which, I don't know, that's odd to me. He was living across the river in Virginia, which is where they even got married. That's where their marriage certificate's from Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
But she states in there that he had another wife and child across the river that he had set up a home with after this contract here.
Right.
But we found proof that he was never married to her, and the child was the child of somebody else completely, and they were raising the child together.
Right.
Like they took the child in.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Yeah, but the child itself, we found birth certificates and everything on the child, and the child was of somebody in the community. I can't remember.
Right. They adopted, basically.
Yeah, they basically took the child in and raised it.
Right.
But LJ's view of it is that's his child, and
Right.
wife is what she put in the divorce papers.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we know that Tennis's divorce went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Right? You know, because when Tennis went away and came back home, he found her pregnant. And
yeah, that's probably not good.
No, but that's an interesting story that
yeah.
I'd love to see
for another day.
Yeah, people harass me about DNA. You know, I'd love to see some DNA from that side. You know, but I did do the DNA, by the way. I haven't even told you all this update. So I've learned a lot. I've got to. I need to make a full video on it, but the DNA. There were 2 people who provided DNA, and supposedly these what's the word I want to use? These other people say that Devil Anse wasn't a Hatfield. Is what it is. But you know, they say Devil Anse wasn't a Hatfield, and that these people who gave their DNA, who claim to be Devil Anse's grandchildren, that DNA goes to Vance's. So supposedly, you know, that part that they think that Devil Anse is a Vance, not a Hatfield, and all this stuff. It's quite interesting. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So there is one DNA which is called Y DNA, and that Y DNA is extremely comprehensive. And I mean, it'll go back. And then this Y DNA, it's only in males, so you can only do the test if you're a male. Even like if you're a sister of someone, you have to ask your brother or your father or, you know, uncle, somebody else
to provide.
Yeah. So the Y DNA is passed male to male to male to male, all the way down.
Right.
Okay. So these other guys, I found out, were asked to take the test. They died not even knowing they were related to Devil Anse. So they've passed on many years ago. But they provided the test because this other gentleman was adopted and trying to find, his
right.
DNA relatives, right? So they took the test for him, and they both passed, not even knowing they were related, supposedly. So what I learned is there are 7 different lines of Hatfields in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you're one of them.
I'm one of the lines.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my DNA came back as an exact match. I did like the 37 marker. You go up to like 300 some markers or 400, something like that crazy. But I just did the 37 one. And all out of 37 markers, 35 of them were exact same.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only 2 digits that are different.
Right.
In other words, you can't get more closely related, right?
Yeah.
So with those 2...
Direct descendancy.
Yeah, right. Direct descendant, yeah. So we are one of the 7. And yeah, definitely came back. I'm definitely Devil Anse's grandson.
You look more like Levici. You look like
I know,
Levici.
the round face. Yeah, there's like Yule, he had a round face. Like it's everybody thinks I look like Yule. But my mom's family also has that round shaped face and the high cheekbones.
Right.
So, and thank God I got my mother's nose. I don't want that Hatfield crooked nose. So, my dad and brothers got it though. But I look a lot like my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom's side of the family.
Yeah.
But yeah, there ain't no doubt about it. So it's this DNA hardcore proven at this point.
Yeah.
So now there's 4 descendants who have tested from Devil Anse, and they all show the same markers. Confirmed. And I also had them research that Vance marker. And oddly enough, the moderator of the lady who moderates the Hatfield lineage groups is a Vance.
Really?
Yeah. So she had her brother take the test for them. And confirmed it's not even close to a Vance. So why that's out there, I have no idea.
Interesting.
So
interesting. Anybody wants to get one, y'all know how to get a hold of him.
Yep, I'll put it on the website soon. And this one's on the website. They can go to the website, HatfieldMcCoyFoundation.org, of course. And they can go on the website and purchase that one now. but the Devil's Brigade is not up there yet, so it will be in a few weeks.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate
course,
you,
buddy.
man. Appreciate you very
Always.
much.